What I cannot create, I do not understand. This is a quote stated by the physicist that went by the name of Richard Feynman. He was a physicist that was very famous for his Feynman diagrams. If you don't know what those are, don't worry about it, I'll explain it later. Anyways, he was born on May 11th, 1918, and passed away on February 15th, 1988. Back when Richard was a young boy, he already had an early interest in science. He created his own lab at his house and conducted very basic experiments. He also paid his sister about 4 cents a week to be his lab assistant.
He hired me for 4 cents a week as his lab assistant to amaze his friends. You know, a spark gap with voltage against it? And if you put your finger in, you get a shock. It was my job, as part of my 4 cents, to put my finger in the spark gap for his friends' amusement.
Back in both high school and elementary school, Richard excelled very highly in both maths and science. When he went to university, he went to MIT in 1939. After a few years, he moved on to Princeton. When he first went to Princeton, he got a perfect score on his entrance math exam. This had never been done before. Near the end of his university days, Richard joined the team that was going to create the atomic bomb. He was a junior member of the team as he was still only in university, but he ended up getting a key role as he had to figure out how to get the human computers to do calculations on parallel. This very much increased the speed of the development of the bomb. Once the bomb was successfully built, he was very horrified by the responsibility of all the deaths it had caused. After the bomb had hit, Feynman went into deep depression. He stayed out of physics for a couple years, but when he finally came back, he only wanted to use his knowledge for fun.
So I decided I'm going to do things only for the fun of it.
The first thing he did when he came back was figure out the physics of a spinning plate. Another fun thing he did was figure out why spaghetti breaks into 3 pieces and not 2. Once Feynman started taking his physics a bit more seriously, he started trying to fix a problem that the algorithms they had been previously using could sometimes answer infinity. That could never be right, so he started making these diagrams that would supposedly fix that problem. One time, his sister went to grab his work, and she saw the diagrams and thought they were just scribbles he had done in his spare time. Everyone thought he was crazy that these would work. But one time at a test, he answered everything a lot faster and got everything right compared to everyone else with these diagrams. So, he won the Nobel Prize. These Feynman diagrams are still in use today. After winning the Nobel Prize, Feynman found himself getting interested in art. After meeting with an artist for a few times, he started becoming very skillful at drawing pictures. There is no official recorded reason for why Feynman wanted to learn art, but he became very good at it, so it didn't really matter. His final big role in science was helping to figure out what happened that made the space shuttle in 1986 go wrong. He managed to figure out that the rubber in the O-ring hardened when it was under freezing. This meant that the fuel inside the O-ring could leak onto the fire. And that's basically what happened, and that's why the space shuttle crashed. Back in 1978, Feynman had been diagnosed with cancer. Luckily for him, he had successful surgery that almost fully eliminated the cancer. Unfortunately, in about 1988, it came back, and he had kidney failure. He refused dialysis, so therefore he died in 1988 at the age of 69. To this day, Richard Feynman's legacy still lives on. Luckily for you now, all of Richard Feynman's lectures that he gave at Caltech are still available online due to Bill Gates purchasing them. Bill Gates describes him as a great role model and a teacher. Many of his interviews can be found on YouTube. His family believes right now that he would absolutely love the internet, as he enjoyed bringing physics to the everyday person. Nobody ever figures out what life is all about, and it doesn't matter. Explore the world. Nearly everything is interesting if you go into it deeply enough.